Two rival groups of protesters have confronted each other on the streets of the Federal Capital Territory over President Muhammadu Buhari's continued absence from the country for over 90 days now. The protest, which is themed #Resume or Resign by the group, has been taking place at the Unity Fountain in Abuja since the beginning of the week. It took the intervention of the police to prevent a full-scale clash between the two groups as the protest, of course, enters the fifth day. The other group, Coalition for Good Governance and Change Initiative, says that calls for the president to resign is baseless. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channel. Social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. The Senate's Joint Committee on Customs, Excise, Tariffs and Marine Transport is investigating the loss of nearly 30 trillion naira of government revenues in the maritime sector. 11 of the 33 organizations have made an appearance before the Senate Investigative Committee. The companies have been accused of complicity in the loss of the huge amount in the import and export value chain in the country. Is the Senate able to trace the money it claims is missing? Will the case go down the drain? What if culprits are prosecuted? Will that deter corrupt practices? In the meantime, the EFCC boss Ibrahim Malu says that he is more determined today than ever before in the fight against corruption, promising to fight back, saying that monies recovered and those forfeited to the government by the courts is just a tip of the iceberg. Will the EFCC boss fight corruption to a standstill? Will the revival of the NFIU work against the EFCC? It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. This is State of the Nation. I am Gimba Umar. Right behind me, data feeds still coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation. Well, the coming of the rains for most residents living across coastal areas, of course, like Lagos, Ogun, Delta and Cross River states, more often than not, leave the people in a dire state with flooding affecting their homes and businesses. In 2012 alone, the devastation was widespread with over 1 million people living along the waterways displaced. Records have shown that worst hit areas were Benue, Kogi, Lagos and parts of Ogun states. Experts have argued that development of Nigeria's waterways will help reduce the flooding experience. Let's examine these issues now. I'm being joined by Mr. Kalejaye Adeboye. He's the chairman, Lagos Ferry Services. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on State of the Nation, as well as Bisola Kamson. She's an engineer, managing director, of course, of Lagos State Waterways Authority. I want to thank you as well for coming on State of the Nation at this time. Let's begin with you, Mr. Adeboye. What strategy is your organization employing, for instance, to ensure that there is safety first along our waterways?
Well, thank you very much. Safety is paramount to us in Lagos, particularly to the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akin Umambode. And in this respect, a lot of strategies have been deployed. First and foremost, it's been employed that the Lagos State Waste Management Authority monitors the entire waterways in terms of ensuring that there are safety compliances. And on the way is the fact that through the instrumentality of the Ministry of Waterfront, CCTV cameras are being worked on to be deployed on our waterways to be able to monitor the activities of the various people. And also is to say that when we talk about safety on our waterways, what should be done? Our waterways that safe in terms of navigation, in terms of, the depth and the magnitude of what should our ferries, our boats fly upon. These are issues that the governor is working on, and that explains why the channelization and mapping out of our waterways are on the way.
Let's get your thoughts also, Engineer Kamson. How has human practices, because it also affects you or his sister organization to what his primary call is. How has human practices affected development of waterways, for instance, when we're looking at a record 13,000 tons of waste that has been generated in Lagos today, and some of them actually get their ways into the water channels and the stormwater drainages. How has that worked?
Sure. Well, I think it's to first of all say that the issue of waste obviously is a paramount one in Lagos State, and to say that His Excellency Mr. Akinwumi has come up with an initiative to look at the issue of waste holistically. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is the Cleaner Lagos initiative that is going to be coming on board very quickly is going to be looking at all of these issues that you mentioned. How do we adequately tackle waste and provide the waste collection resources to Lagosians so that they are not forced to then go and dump waste indiscriminately in the waterways. And this is going to address all of that. This is going to provide, we're going to see compactors coming in. We're going to see, the waste collector bins that would provide adequate alternative for people so that they are not, they don't resort to using the waterways as a dumping ground, which is, to be honest, typically what we see in some regions today.